when we meet out.
95.5 KLOS. Good morning. 10 minutes after 7 o'clock with Mark and Brian.
We have a special guest. We're so pleased to have him here. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Davey Jones.
Good morning.
Hello, Davey.
What are they putting in this coffee this morning?
Yeah, well, it's a tough one, but thanks for coming in. We realize you got that busy schedule, and thanks for being with Mark and Brian today.
Yeah, it's great to be here. I'm always happy to be up and with people in the morning. Usually it's just the horses, because being a horseman, the morning is the time to do it all, and this is sort of like the middle of the day for me, actually.
Well, I hope we smell a little better than your horses. There's a chance of
a
that.
lot better, yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, we bathed this morning.
Yeah.
It's a lot warmer in here, too. You don't have to watch where you step.
No, actually, you actually, yeah. I mean, if you look over there by Mark.
We haven't started talking yet. So
it's a big pile of something with flies around. You wrote a book. This is your book, The New Thing.
They made a monkey out of me. The names have been changed to protect the guilty. Actually, the names have been changed to protect me from the guilty. Yeah, you had to do those kinds of things these days. Isn't it terrible? You've got to protect yourself from all quarters,
That's the way it is.
Yeah, that's showbiz, I guess. It's a book that talks about growing up or not growing up in Manchester and getting to New York in a show and traveling to California and meeting Mickey, Peter, and Mike and doing the monkeys and more.
Well, tell us how it happened, kind of. I mean, how were you picked to be one of the monkeys?
Well, they were running auditions to sort of make a show that was similar, I would say, to A Hard Day's Night. That was the Beatles' original sort of movie that they made. And they wanted what they called 4 Ben Frank types. Ben Frank's is a restaurant that was on Sunset, and they used to get all the long hairs in there, and that's the kind of sort of image they were looking for, guys with the hair long and the musicians and sort of
not much money.
It was the mid-'60s, and they didn't want to give you much money either, but TV companies are like that. They always say, when you do the next one, that's when you'll make the money.
Yeah, we hear that a lot in radio as well.
Now, going into it, were you from a musical background or
in Oliver, which was a show, I played the Artful Dodger, and the Columbia Pictures Studios saw me in the show and they signed me to a contract, and then when they decided to do the monkeys, they signed me up. They just put me in the show, and then we actually had to find 3 other guys who were Peter Tork and Mike Nesmith and Mickey Dolenz.
Did you wanted to do this right off the bat?
Oh, yeah. It was just another thing, To me, as I say in my book, it's no different than a school play. And I think in show business, if you just get everything on that kind of level where you feel it's going to be fun, I'm going to make a bit of money, and I'll put all my energy into it. And then if it doesn't quite go where you think it's going to go, it's not as disappointing if you're going to sort of think you're going to put all your eggs into one basket. I knew it was going to be big from the beginning because I knew what records radio was all about. And it was at a time when there was not a lot of sort of like sponsorship from the major pop companies. I said pop soda companies that got involved with promoting concerts and doing all this stuff. Right. Usually it would say KLOS and so on, and a promoter would present the monkeys. Right. Whereas and now you've got these massive sort of like companies that put their name behind it, and they promote, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I'm glad he said Pepsi Cola, actually. Yeah. That is my favorite.
Yeah. Oh, is it now?
Yeah, it is. Yes. No comparison. No.
Wait, is that one of your sponsors now, Davey?
No, it isn't, but I would no, you see, it's very interesting because the Monkeys were a show that went into 36 countries. We made 58 episodes, and obviously as we travel around the country, not only just with my book, they made a monkey out of me, but other times I've gone into whether it be Tokyo or Sydney, Australia, or in London or in Los Angeles or Chicago, and I'm all over the place just as a traveler on my own. I don't stand still, The book's very helpful because I've got something to talk about when I do get to these places. But I get in London, a cabbie shouts out of the window of a cab and shouts, "Hello, Davey, where's Mickey? Here we come walking down the street." And so it hasn't left for 20 years, although the Monkeys were not sort of like touring all these years, and it's only this 86 and 87 that we did our tours that we were back in sort of the mainstream of touring. But the Monkeys, because of the coverage on the radio, because of I'm a Believer and Daydream Believer and Last Train to Clarksville being played and played, TV stations being rerun, it's like you've really not gone anywhere. And people say, well, don't you get sick of sort of being Davy Jones for the Monkeys? But it's sort of like a handle that so you can always always turn and people are always putting their arm around me and saying, "Hey, great to see you again." I'd never seen them before. I'd only saw them on the Monkees 20 years ago.
But they saw you.
And it's a very familiar thing, and it's sort of like the Monkees, because of their going into all these homes and being sort of a long-haired group that was accepted. Now long hair, I mean, it was nothing in those days. I mean, we had little tiny tufts on the back of our shirts. That was about it. But the thing was that we were sort of like a family band. We were sort of like a local band, so that when we go into Birmingham, Alabama, or when we go into Atlanta, Georgia, or we go into New Jersey someplace, it's as if we were the band that came from that place. And this is the way it always feels.
Well, now, the tours were extremely successful. I'm talking about the tours of last summer.
Yeah, and there again, if the people had not come, it wouldn't have made that much. It would have made a lot of difference to our pocketbooks, obviously, because it's a professional project, where you go out to make money, you go out to sell your product, you go out to get the applause, and have all these people smile and tell you how wonderful you are. This is what show business is all about. But it was a double surprise for us to find out that the fans that were with us 20 years ago have now sort of grown up, and they're like us, and they've got kids, and they have to pick them up at school and drop them off at the doctors and things like that.
And they probably brought their kids to your shows.
They brought their kids, and you'd find people sitting there with 8, 9, 10, 12 teenagers sometimes, and they're the mums and dads our age in their late 30s, early 40s, who were fans of the Monkees years before. They must have dusted their albums off that they found up in the attic, and the kids and the mums and dads were all talking about the same thing, or going out for an evening to the same show. So that was very moving for all of us.
The thing you're doing here, though, is keeping true to what happened 20 years ago. You're not taking yourself too seriously. I saw the show in Birmingham, and y'all just came out and had a good time and gave the audience what they wanted to hear.
Every night was a birthday party. I mean, this is true. It sounds like a show business line, but we came out there. We're 40-year-old guys at this point, and we're still doing the Monkees show. We came out. We had doors on stage that we walked through. We had all these blow-up animals. We had a scaffolding. We had a stage that we used. We did costume changes. We dressed up and did bits and pieces from the show that people were familiar with. We didn't actually. It's not a case of putting yourself out. It's putting yourself in and making yourself entertaining to the audience, that they don't want to come and see four guys. When John Lennon used to sort of stand there and bend his legs as he played, I mean, that was sort of animated, wasn't it? And then all of a sudden you get these kids that are making music today and dressing up, no matter who it might be. I mean, they've got it hands down over all the guys from the 60s. I mean, we were like mummies compared with what they do. I mean, they're jumping about and they're animated and they're all over and they're playing the audience. They're not just standing there, sort of like Dave Clark 5, Freddie and the Dreamers, when Freddie used to do the Freddie, going like this. I mean, that was the guy. Wow, man, he's wild. This guy is really wild.
Our special guest is Davey Jones of the Monkees. And Davey, we have several callers on the phone who want to ask questions. We have a lot of stuff that we want to know. And as we continue the interview, if you could just come out of your shell maybe and talk a little more, that's going to help us out and probably help the show move along.
I'll try my best. Okay,
Davey,
it is very late in the day.
All right, we'll be back. KLOS, the Mark O'Brien program.
It began a decade ago in Osaka, Japan.
The Monkees? Now, well, was from the Monkees. Still it. Now, is the monkey thing still going on?
Everybody.
Is the monkey thing still going on?
As the day's drawing to a close.
I think we're getting the answer here. So you're not going to be touring anymore?
Well, hopefully, yeah. We went out, 70, 86, 87, and the guys, they're off doing their own things. We're talking about doing a Christmas album. I know that it's a bit early, but we're talking about it. And Mickey Dolenz is working on getting a movie together. We got a small, intimate title we're working on. It's The Monkees Save the World.
Ooh.
So it's going to be sort of like a Marx Brothers, Bob Hope, Bing Crosby, Jerry Lewis, Dean Martin sort of...
On the road.
Yeah, on the road sort of job.
Well, so it'll still be just Peter, Mickey, and Davey.
I think that if we start involving ourselves with movies and doing film, that Mike Nesmith is obviously going to want to get involved. He's into movies. He's into... That's what his company does. He just could not come onto the road. The reason Mike didn't join us, he did join us at the Greek Theatre, where we had a couple of great concerts, and... He joined us and he played a couple of tunes with us, but it was his schedule, and you just can't, after 20 years, all of a sudden say, okay, I'm just going to go out on the road and I'll be back in 7 months.
All right.
If you're running a company, you can't do that, and he was running a company. Myself, I was working in England in the theatre. I was doing, the last thing I did on the stage was a show called Godspell, where I played the part of Jesus, which was quite an interesting
I guess
one.
you could call that the lead.
Yeah, that was the lead. It was the main man. I enjoyed playing that part, you know, but there was always that fear at the end when I was being crucified that they were going to shout from the audience, "Give us Daydream Believer before you go." One of those,
but no one did.
Nobody did.
Good.
Thank God.
Yes, yeah. Thank you.
All right, David, we've got some people on the phone that have questions as we do, so let's go to the phone and see what we can find. Morning, KLOS. You're on the air with Davey Jones.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My question to you guys is, Davey, when you were touring with the Monkees, okay, back in the mid or late 60s, your opening act was Hendrix during a tour or two. Could you briefly share what you thought of Jimmy and what happened? He was too wild and got canned or something like that?
Well, he died, you know.
Well, that's
which was
apparent.
very unfortunate, untimely, I would add. He was a guy that was playing in the Village, you know, and as you remember him, the appearance, he was sort of like this Will Scarlet, you know, in the Robin Hood days. He had all these ribbons and all these fancy colours from his waistcoat, and he was cavalier, you know, and he was this guy that played the guitar in a very strange way. He was a left-handed guitarist, and we saw him in the Village in New York, and Mickey and I stood there in the audience, and he started playing the guitar behind his neck, you know, and with his teeth, which is very hard to do at the same time. And so we thought, this guy is definitely variety. This guy is vaudeville. Let's get him. He was. I mean, compared with everybody else that was going on. I mean, today he's sort of like, you know, very cool. But in those days, he was just sort of like vaudeville, and he was a novelty. So we said, let's get this guy to open for us. He said, come on, the Monkees, no way we're going to do that. He says, yeah, we do it. So we asked him. He said, sure. He wasn't doing anything for the next 10 years. And so we said, yeah, sure. He was down in the Village, you know. Yeah. He's playing to 12 people. And so he came on the road with us, and we went out for about 3 or 4 weeks. He played, I think, about 10 or 12 concerts with us, and we were at Forest Hill Stadium in New York, and it was easy for the Monkees. You know, we were all standing watching him on the side of the stage, leaning onto the stage, and watching him play these incredible things, Foxy Lady and all this stuff, you know. And it was just so amazing to hear the sounds coming out of these chintzy little Vox amps at the time. But he was playing it, and it was fantastic. And all of a sudden, you know, the chant went up towards the middle of his set, and he just, we want the Monkees, we want the Monkees, we want, and we go, oh, embarrassing. We want the Monkees. So finally, after a couple of performances at Forest Hill Stadium, he got the end of his guitar and he swung it over his head and he threw it at the audience. And it was still attached to the amp, you know, boing, boing. The amps came over, you know, sort of like Keith Moon's time, the whole thing. The stage fell over, domino effect. Everything was all in shambles, smoke's coming out, the whole thing. He walked off the stage, and we didn't really see much of him after that. I can imagine why. He wasn't there the next night, but he did break with Foxy Lady, and he had some great hits, and he's always a hero, obviously. You know, he's somebody that will always hold the eye. Well, I met him, I liked him, and I'll give him a 10.
Thank you, Davey.
It sounds like you were as much responsible as Chaz Chandler in getting him going in the whole 9 yards.
Well, the thing is, you know, it's sort of like I guess what they always credit, you know, they always credit the Monkees with being the first video act, you know, but I think it's the one that does the most of it, you know, so, you know, so they associate him with Chaz or with the Monkees or whatever. I wouldn't want to claim his fame. Jimi Hendrix was his own man, and he would have done it with regardless of anybody, and talent always surfaces if you can persevere, you know, and this is what the business is all about. I mean, he was in a room once, Stephen Stills, Jimi Hendrix, Peter Tork, Mickey Dolenz, myself, we were in New York, and I remember it very clearly because it was, the curtains were closed. I forget where we were, at a hotel, and they were jamming around, and Mickey was banging sticks on the back of a chair, and Neil Young, Stephen Stills, Jimi Hendrix were all jamming, and Peter, who's quite a great guitarist, and he's playing along, and they're all playing. I don't know what they're doing, and Mickey's banging the sticks, and they're banging away, and all of a sudden, halfway through this little session, Mickey stops banging, and as soon as he stops banging, they all stop and look round, and Hendrix says to Mickey, why did you stop? And it was so good because, you know, Mickey went, oh, I was contributing, was I? All right. Sort of thing. Oh, okay.
Well, sir, good question. We got a can of Mark and Brian Beanie Weenies for you.
Right on. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Before we go, how were you received by the other rock stars in that age? I mean, because there were some talk of none of you really played instruments. Two of you did, but even when you were in concert.
Yeah. Well, we were a musical comedy act. We were an act. We weren't a band.
And you didn't try to hide the fact?
No, we didn't really, because, we went into the studio and we had musicians like Earl Palmer, Larry Nexel, Joe Osborne. We had...
Was there any animosity? Glenn Campbell played for the Monkees?
You see, the studio musicians understood, because they were playing on Beatles sessions, Rolling Stones sessions, they were playing on Who sessions, they were playing definitely on the Beach Boys sessions, and they was playing on everybody else's sessions around town, so everybody knew that. There was no sort of animosity between sort of the association and Marilyn and Billy, McCoo, and the Fifth Dimension, who also opened for us, and then had Up, Up and Away, and off they went and did their hit record. So acts and artists are never really talk each other down, they never really say, I think the Monkees stink, or I think the association are lousy, or, I think the Buffalo Springfield are overrated. You never hear this from artists, because they're all in the same business.
Right,
it's stupid to think that would happen. It's just the media, and the idea is, as we know in the newspapers, don't let the truth spoil the news. And they blew something that was it wasn't newsworthy. The Monkees were a TV show about a rock and roll group, and somewhere along the line, the newspapers missed out on that. The radio stations were playing our stuff. They're still playing our stuff. The TV show wanted to interview us because we were energetic and we were animated. And our TV show was not offensive. It was supposedly innovative at this time in its techniques. But basically what we did on the show was we never talked down to the kids. We were four guys trying to make it, living in a beach house in California, out there in Malibu someplace, working in Chinese restaurants, working in haunted castles, getting into falling in love and doing all... it was just a fantasy, and there was nothing more complicated than that about it. The fans knew about it, the radio stations knew about it, but for some reason, somebody there in some newspaper across the country decided that we wanted to say the Monkees didn't play their own music, and so big deal, who cares?
Davey Jones of the Monkees is our special guest. We'll do more Ask Davey. And again, Davey, if you could, when we ask you a question, try to give us a bit more than a yes or no answer.
I will.
Work on that for us if you could. We appreciate it.
I know, it's getting a bit late. I'm getting tired. It's almost my bedtime.
7:35. News and Views up next.
I'm going to take this quick one. She's been on hold for a half hour calling from New York.
New York, huh?
She's been paying for this one. Good morning.
Hi.
Question for Davey?
Yeah. First, I wanted to say I really enjoyed reading your book and seeing the Monkees on tour in '86 and '87.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But I was wondering, with all the Monkees nostalgia that you brought to the tour, especially last summer, why didn't you have your trademark maracas with you?
Oh, yeah, well...
you're probably one of the best maraca players in musical history.
One of the greats.
They're not very easy to play, I've been trying it for 20 years. I still can't play the buggers.
The boogers.
Yeah, the thing would be... I would ask that question also. There was just one song that we used to play it on, and I think that was... on A Little Bit Me, A Little Bit You. Yeah, I should have had the maracas. You're right. I goofed. I knew some you'd pick up on that. I got these. You see, it's very funny because when they set the stage and the whole thing, I always used to have to go and check it out, even to make sure my tambourine was out there, because they didn't sort of like, the stage crew and everybody, the guitars, the bass, the drum, the piccolo, whatever it might be, they were all out there, but I had to make sure that my stuff was out there, because who takes the tambourine seriously, except David Letterman. He voted me number 1, number 7, and number 10 tambourine player in the world. So there must be something in it. I'm very, very sorry I didn't have my marachis, but I did have some at the very beginning. They got me these sort of cheap little maracas from some sort of store down the block that sold everything. It was in the pipes and wheelbarrow section, and they brought me these maracas, and I shook them for once, and I don't know what came out of them, but it was nothing from this world. And so it was terrible. I should have really had some out there, because I look at the old movies now, see myself jumping around like a pork chop holding these maracas and this tambourine. I think that is the real me.
Ma'am, you've been on hold on the phone from New York for like around an hour.
Almost.
Was it worth the $60 that you spent to speak with Davey?
Sure.
Okay, then.
Well, it's all right, because it's not her phone. She just... I've done that before, walk down a hotel room and say, oh, yes, there is one. There's a door open there. I think I'll call Beirut.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
See ya.
All right, now, Mike Nesmith played guitar. Did he actually play guitar?
Oh yeah, he did play guitar.
Yeah.
He when we first started, he knew about 4 chords, and when we finished, he knew 5.
Really?
The reason, actually, he didn't come on the road this year was because he'd forgotten the chords to the tunes, and the other reason was because he'd lost his green little wool hat.
Yeah, well, you gotta have that.
It was nothing to do with the fact that his mother had invented the Wipeout and left him $38 million.
Right.
But no, it's nothing to do with any of those reasons. But yeah, he did play. Peter was about the best musician. He used to play, obviously, in New York. In fact, Stephen Stills was the guy that turned him on to the auditions. They looked at Stephen, and Stephen was...
I can't see that.
Stephen was going to come in and be one of the Monkees, but he played great and he sang great, and he just didn't think he could hack the acting. He didn't want to... That he couldn't, it wasn't that he couldn't do it, he didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
He was just, we were all hanging around in those days, as you can imagine. We were talking earlier about sort of jealousies within bands. I don't think there's too much of it. There's more of a camaraderie, We used to hang out at the beach with Stephen and Neil Young, and when they were involved with the Buffalo Springfield, and we always used to see Jerry Yester and people, the Association, and lots of other bands that were around town, and we were all sort of like racing each other to the top of the charts. It was more of a sort of like a friendly sort of competition.
Mickey Dolenz, did he play drums?
No, he didn't. And the reason he got the part as the drummer was, they said they asked for a volunteer, and Mike and Peter and myself took one step backwards, so he was the drummer.
He's the drummer.
And if they'd have put me behind the drums, they would.
Well, they did a few times.
Well, occasionally I got up there and sort of acted playing the drums. But there again, it was all part of sort of the visual effect. Now, when we first started the pilot film, I was standing there holding a guitar, which I couldn't play, and I was just sort of strumming along as if I was, playing a guitar. Well, obviously, after 2 years of filming 56 episodes, and we were there from 7 in the morning till 7 o'clock at night, and you're around all these musical instruments, you do tend to sort of pick them up and start playing. And over the years, I have written tunes. I've written a few songs myself. Hopefully I could play you one this morning.
Yeah, we'll do that.
I've written a couple of tunes myself, and I've turned what was a prop in the beginning on the Monkey Show into something that I get pleasure from. And I'm not the greatest guitar player in the world, obviously. In fact, when I play the national anthem, people from every country stand up. So,
Thank you for that. Thank you very much. Wait, I think some humor from Davey.
Okay.
A punchline from Davey.
Listen, that didn't work. I'll get to the bottom. Forget that joke.
All right, Davey, tell us this. We told us earlier that times between the Monkees of the 60s and now, times at some point had gotten tough a little bit. Did you ever regret being a Monkee? Did it ever...
I was a bit sort of put out from time to time, sort of like in the early 70s, and sort of like the late 70s, the mid 70s, 76. Mickey Dolenz, Bobby Hart, and Tommy Boyce and myself went out. We did in 76. We did the bicentennial tour. It was called Dolenz, Jones, Boyce, and Hart. And I used to say on stage that's okay because most of my friends are bicentennial. And we used to do all these stupid.
I want to rip that one up too, if you could.
Yeah, that one's going to. We played Disneyland, and I said that Tommy Boyce got in for nothing because they thought he was dopey. That one's going
okay, another one.
Finish.
Okay.
But anyway, I don't want that to put anybody off from coming to see me on March the 5th, which is Saturday, at the Samuel French store on Sunset Boulevard.
Promoting, okay.
Yeah,
For a book
right.
signing.
It's
For a
my
book signing.
I'll be there at 1 o'clock, and I'll be signing the books. Yeah, Samuel French.
All right, coming up, we're going to play a tune from the recent tour, let you know how some of the oldies sounded live, and Davey has a new album coming out. We're going to play a selection from that.
And try to take a few more calls. Don't you go away. News and views will check up next.
1.5 KLOS, Little Ambrosia for you. Davey Jones is here with us today. Greetings, Dave. And
here's a good question. Line 10. Let's take line 10. Ask Davey.
All right, here we go. Morning, KLOS. You're on the air with Davey Jones.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, I wanted to say 2 things. First of all, I wanted to say that for my 21st birthday this last summer, I flew to Florida to see a Monkees concert, and I was lucky enough to get to meet Davey in Orlando, and he was just great. Laying there in his bathing suit, he signed autographs for us, and it was...
Laying on his bed?
He was on a beach chair out at the hotel.
Oh, okay.
In a little Speedo, and we were dying.
Ooh, Dave.
Davey, you wear Speedos, do you, buddy? Them little Speedos, huh?
They shrunk in the wash. I can't wear them. Forget it.
But anyways, he was nice enough to sign autographs, and he was just great. But my question is, I want to know what the wildest thing a fan has ever done to get to meet him.
Yeah, well, there's been obviously some of the things like we always got these sort of like singing telegrams or kissograms or nudograms and things like that, which weren't really what they were supposed to be. They were just ways of getting in to see us, right? But funny, years ago, there was this one girl in New York. We stayed at the Warwick Hotel, and she actually did. You heard about people posting themselves. I guess it was something she did with the bellboy or something, but she got herself all wrapped up in a box and brought up to our room. We opened it, surprise! You know, this box was moving around, so we knew something was in it. But
no, so what happened?
There's been
no, what happened, David?
Nothing happened after that. We put it back in the box and sent it back.
After you broke her.
It was the wrong room. Nothing too spectacular that I can really talk about on the air.
I think that's what we're looking for.
I think it is. We need some trash in
sorry,
here.
But it was great to talk to you, Ken.
All right, thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Okay. Bye-bye. All right, any other calls on that we need to talk about?
Oh, a lot of them. A lot of them.
All right, let's just take line 3. Morning, KLOS. You're on the air with Davey Jones.
Yeah, late in like 68, 69, we were in Louisville, Kentucky. I was about maybe 5 years old, and the Monkees were in town, and they were doing some guest shots on TV shows there. They were staying at the Sealback Sheraton Hotel. I was wondering if Davey remembers staying there. They were there for like a week and a half, and I know he does a lot of stuff, but at the time he had gone out, Mickey Dolenz had gone out with my sister during this time. And I believe Mickey went along with them. I got pictures that they took during that. And that's just one part of my question. I was just wondering if possibly they remember doing that gig out there in Louisville, Kentucky. They were hanging around the hotel quite a lot. There was quite a ruckus going on outside.
I remember Louisville, yeah, because it's horse country.
Yeah.
I can't remember the occasion that...
now, who dated your sister, Mickey or Davey?
Mickey Dolenz went out with her during one of the evenings out at Louisville. I have a picture of them out in front of the hotel leaving. And
Yes, he was a womanizer. I used to get the stars in my eyes, but he got all the women. That was the thing, you see.
He never chased a woman.
Well, thanks for your question.
Well, one other thing. I just wanted to find out about the royalties on the shows and all the Monkey products that were put out, thousands of different dolls and items. Are you guys ever seeing any of the royalties off of that?
I must say we weren't really done well by on that particular account. No, the Monkees TV show is rerun all the time, obviously, and there is a rule by Screen Actors Guild that they pay you on a rerun and another rerun, and it drops to something else. Then all of a sudden that they play. I'd like to make my my stand on that is that I feel that although it's nice to see the Monkees on the air and these old TV shows, I think that the networks are getting away with murder. I think that they are putting on shows reruns. It's costing them very little to do it. The TV stations are making the money. Actors not being employed because they're rerunning and rerunning and rerunning, and we're all sitting around waiting for the next thing to happen. And they're lining their pockets, but and the actors doesn't get a rerun. Either the Screen Actors Guild has got to get their finger out and do something about it, or there's got to be some sort of limit on reruns. It's lovely to see all the old shows, but fair's fair. Actors Equity and Screen Actors Guild and AFTRA and all the rest of the unions, they've got a lot of members, and we all want to work, we all want to be working actors, and we can't if we're filling the airwaves up with these oldies but goodies. We never got paid a lot of money for the merchandising. We were promised a lot of money by Screen Gems, Columbia Pictures, but you live and learn, and they've been fair to us over the years by putting it out, I guess, at the same time taking away from new products being made. As far as the merchandising money, we got very little, and in my book they made a monkey out of me. There's some royalty statements. In fact, the last check that Screen Gems sent me for my royalties is in there, and it's 1970, and it's for the amount of zero. Why they sent me a check for zero, I don't know. I guess it was just sort of sticking that nail a little deeper into my...
I think we touched a nerve here. I think a nerve has been banged.
But anyway, think about it, guys. Think about it.
Well, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Speaking of those old shows, now you're flicking through the television and you come across a Monkees episode. Do you sit and watch it?
I do occasionally, yeah. I was in Spain a couple of weeks ago, and I was over there doing this Super Sports, and I took part. My team did not win the Super Sports, but I did get Sportsman of the Week, which was a free
Congratulations.
a free holiday. Thank you. Stay in your seats.
Well, you also got Cutest Guy of the Year year from Nickelodeon.
I know.
Ooh.
Yeah, did you hear that?
Nickelodeon.
Get this, he beat out Bon Jovi and George Michael.
Go it, Davey.
Listen, there's no accounting for taste. The deal would be that the Nickelodeon's very good to the Monkees. They have played the show, and we've got a lot of new fans from the show being played on that particular channel. The idea would be that, as I say, there's no accounting for taste. I'm very thankful, not bad for you've got to be over 40 to be in rock and roll these days.
Davey, you really are awfully cute.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
We're looking.
Thank you very much.
We're looking at you, bud.
Actually, no, I was leaving the house, and obviously I got teenage daughters, 19, 16-year-old. I got a little 6-year-old too. And my 16-year-old said to me, Dad, you are a major babe. So
Hey.
Hey. Okay. I don't know what it means, but she says I'm a major babe.
All right, now, tell us this. Your kids, as you said, 19, 16.
Yeah.
They, I'm sure by now, understand the whole aura of the Monkees and the excitement that went around it. They probably saw some of the concerts. What do they think about Dad being actually a teen idol at this point?
Well, they've about the Monkees. They've taken it in their stride. We've always sort of had people come to us no matter where when they were little tiny kids and up through their teens, at school. They don't really go promoting the fact that Davy Jones is their dad. When it gets to be known, it's a novelty for a minute, and then they just become normal kids once again. As far as them handling it, my two eldest, Talia and Sarah, who are in Santa Barbara. Talia's a great horse lady, and she's got her own activities. She's riding at Earl Warren Showground all this week. She's quite a good competitor. You can learn a lot from watching her. And Sarah Lee, she's a student in Santa Barbara, and they are very level-headed. In fact, it's sort of vogue these days, and I know Mickey Dolenz' daughter Amy is taking it up, and she's becoming an actress, and she's on, I think, one of the daytime soap operas. Well, Talia and Sarah have also had their pictures taken. They're thinking of getting into the business themselves. They're cute, they're energetic, they're animated, and I think they should go a long way. And experiencing what I've gone through, and the ups and downs that I have felt personally with my own career, I think they've learnt a lot from it. They're very supportive. Obviously, they don't sit around playing the Monkey records or telling me how great I am all the time. I do go up to them and say silly things like, do the kids at school say, "Isn't your dad young?" and things like that. It's, "Oh, Dad, get away from here," it's so uncool,
Okay.
So, and I do things, and I'm sort of with them, and I'm in the street or I'm out there, and as you know from listening, I do show off quite a bit, and sort of like, I'm down on the beach or something, and Dad says, "Come on, Dad." They say, "Come on, Dad, stop showing off," will you?" Things like that. So they keep me in my place, but it's all within good, sort of like good feelings.
Sure.
I'm very proud of them.
If you missed the Monkees tour, we have prepared Daydream Believer, the live version from last summer, and we also have one of Davy Jones' new tunes, Look Inside Yourself, and we'll play both of those here very shortly.
Plus, Davy Jones' prognostications for the Grammys coming up tonight.
Oh, Davy, do you have an inside track on those, bud?
Well, it's just a bet. I am a horseman, I'm a gambler, and in moderation, of course, and I have marked off on a few of the categories the people I would want to win, that I think would benefit the industry by winning.
We'll take a look at those Davy Jones prognostications here on KLOS.
At the same time, Peter Tork, Mickey Dolenz, Davy Jones, that was their live tour in 1986.
That was the only thing we did. We just sang that song over and over and over. It was a small tour, very small.
People must have dug it,
Yeah,
obviously.
we got them in and out as quick as we could. All we wanted was the money.
Okay, a couple of years ago, MTV began playing the Monkees television program, as we talked about earlier. Did things begin happening as soon as that was being shown? Did things kick in at that point?
Well, it's funny because it all works together. Luckily, sometimes it does anyway. And we had arranged that we were going to go on the road for the Monkees' 20th anniversary tour. And we signed up the papers and did all the business in July earlier on in that year. And then we decided the next year that was 1986. That was when we were going out. And luckily, somehow it happened. I don't know how it happened. MTV decided 2 months before to show the Monkees shows, 36-hour marathon, all the shows. And I guess they did in 36 hours what it took a couple of years to do with the Monkees the first time around, and they were tremendous help to our career.
Did you notice people beginning to recognize you more often, or did you notice a surge of popularity after that had taken place?
Obviously, I'd been in England working, and so I hadn't really seen what was happening in America. I knew it had been rerun and the songs had been played on the radio. But one thing I did notice that the people would come up to me and say, "I'm an MTV fan." Or I'm an original fan. I'm a second time around fan, you know? And it was sort of like a contest between who was there at the beginning and who was there because of MTV. And so, you know, obviously all the younger audience were there because they were watching MTV. Unfortunately, we had a small falling out with MTV later on that next year, and they didn't show our video or our new two videos that came up from our new singles that came up.
Why was that? Did they just think you weren't hip anymore, or they just wanted to do it?
I think they wanted us to go away. We came in for 1 year, and that was it. And I think MTV went very sort of, it's gone a bit hard rock anyway. It's not sort of like middle of the road as it was. They do show Monty Python and a few other Benny Hills and things like that. But I thought that they thought that, you know, that was it, and they wanted us to go and bury our heads again. But that wasn't the case. And obviously we'd like to continue our career whenever possible, working together with Michael Nesmith as well.
All right, we have some people on the phone. Any particular line that would be good?
Just pick.
All right, let's just go to it. Morning, KLOS. You're on the air with Davey Jones.
Hello?
Hello.
This is Randy.
Hey, Randy.
Hello. Hi, Davey.
Hi, how you doing?
Oh, pretty good. I've been waiting for a while to talk to you this morning. I was just going to ask you about the new show, The New Monkeys. Did you guys have any input as a band into what was going to be done with that show?
Absolutely not. It's the old story once again, is that they were owned, the name The Monkeys is owned by Columbia Pictures Screen Gems. Well, they say it is. And so they're able to use it any way they want. We went out on the first tour, 86, and then they saw that was a tremendous hit, and so they decided they'd put the show together with The New Monkeys. You know, the new Gidget and the new Hollywood Squares and the new this. But
we're the new Mark and Brian.
Yes, we are.
So that's all very fine, you know, but if you're gonna try to copy something, you've got to be better than the originals. And I'm afraid it fell flat on his face as far as popularity and as far as with the public. However, you know, never deserts a drowning ship, so probably they might be coming out this year with the new Monkeys. Who knows? But
well, you know, Davey, it's so hard to beat someone who's been picked cutest on Nickelodeon. That's a tough thing to follow.
I realize this, and I realize you're not going to let this go at all until I leave here. And when I leave, you're going to say that boy is not as cute as you think he is. In fact, he's got more lines on his face than Union Station.
Not true.
I realize this.
No. Did you have something else, sir?
Yeah, I was going to say the show seemed like they was almost trying to like fit you guys' personality into the show and trying to mimic you. It's almost like a masquerade party. Everybody's showing up with different personalities.
Yeah, I wondered why that guy kept walking around with on his knees. He was trying to be me.
Right.
No, I have no idea.
Or you're Susan.
Obviously, these the producers and the people that are working in the companies these days, that, you know, you get a lot of lawyers and business and money people, and I think maybe when a creative person comes along, they go jumping at the idea. It was a great idea, you know, but I knew it wouldn't succeed anyway because they made the series in Taiwan.
And it's nothing like the old Monkeys.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, Davey, you have a new tune entitled "Look Inside Yourself." Has this been released as of yet?
No, it isn't. It's something I've been working on in the studio with a bunch of the guys that was touring, and over the last 18 months, every time we'd have an opportunity to go in the studio, if there was a couple of days off, I'd go in. I'm a great believer in putting monies back into your career. I've financed this album. I've financed my own book, They Made a Monkey Out of Me, and hopefully if you want to come down to Samuel French's on Saturday, I'd love to see you and sign the books.
Yeah.
But that's
What time are you going to be there?
1 o'clock. It's on Sunset. It's 7623 Sunset. So I'll be there, and I just wanted to make an album, and as nobody was coming rushing, so if there's anybody out there that likes this tune and you feel that there is a market, hey, it's there.
Well, here it is.
Give me a call, mate.
Davey Jones' latest "Look Inside Yourself" on KLOS.
Its attraction in the cold light of day.
95.5 KLOS, Mark and Brian program, the latest, an unreleased tune. Look Inside Yourself. Davey Jones, again, is our guest today.
And again, he was voted cutest guy of the year on Nickelodeon.
Oh, you
That's damn
guys.
important.
Beat out Bon Jovi and George Michael.
And, of course, you're not here to promote your book, but what's the name of your book again there,
It's
Davey?
called They Made a Monkey Out of Me.
Yeah, and
I'll be at Samuel French on Saturday at 1 o'clock, Sunset Boulevard.
Then-
Be there or be square.
Yeah, okay, thank you. And
All
the
right.
name of the book again?
It's called They Made a Monkey Out of Me.
Thank you.
Well, the Grammys are tonight.
That's true.
And you being the musical god that you are,
Yes.
wondering if you'd like to give us your prognostications for the thing.
Well, I'd like to say that I think that my choices will benefit the winner and the industry. It's pop female vocal.
Now, hang on. This is how he said it. We asked him if he'd like to do this earlier, and he goes, "You tell me who's running, I'll pick the winner."
Holy cow, Davey. Pretty out there, buddy.
But
Pretty
I
out
say
there,
pop
buddy.
female vocalists will be Belinda Carlisle, beating out Carly Simon, Whitney Houston, and Suzanne Vega. and
Really?
Barbra Streisand.
Really? Okay.
I say rock duo or group would be U2, Joshua Tree, beating out Hard, Bad Animals, Yes, Big Generation, Los Lobos.
Are you a
and
U2 fan?
Gorgeous
Are you a
Deadlights.
U2 fan?
I like them, I must say. I do like them a lot because they like the Monkees too.
Well, they like
That's
you,
got
yeah,
nothing to do with it. I saw the musical cast LP. I'd like to see South Pacific. It's got a load of great tunes. Me and my gals there too.
You don't think Phantom of the Opera there?
I haven't seen it. I haven't heard it, but I think South Pacific is a great one because it's a great tune. It that would be fabulous. It would be a great tune. Your eyes are the eyes of a woman in love. It's probably not on the album, but they missed that one out.
Okay.
Song of the year. Oh, it's got to be. Didn't we almost have it all? Didn't we almost have it all? What's a great tune?
Now, are you a Whitney fan?
Sure. Well, she's sort of like
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, she's sort of
yeah.
She's the Olivia Newton-John of the R&B sect,
Well
right?
said, well said.
She's, what's it? The black Olivia Newton-John, yeah. I like her.
Wait a minute.
She's
Whitney's black.
Yeah, she is.
Oh.
Yeah.
The things you learn on this
Jeez, all
show,
right,
boy.
well,
you don't
I
have
do
to
like
call
her a
somebody.
lot. I don't know. I think I think she should change the company. She's not doing well with that company.
No, not at all.
Song of the year, yeah, we all have it all. Comedy recording, I'd like to see Polka Party with Weird Al Yankovic. Yeah, he's got to be there.
He was your opening act.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
And he was fabulous. I love him a lot. Album of the year, Bad, Michael Jackson.
You really think so? Over the Joshua Tree?
Well, I would like to see that there because he's, he puts his time in, doesn't he? You know.
Yeah, he does.
And I think Joshua Tree. If they're going to win the other one, then that's okay. You know.
Oh, I think Bono's on the phone now.
Oh, really?
Totally upset.
Oh, my
with you.
God.
Yeah,
So,
he's upset.
R&B vocal male. I would,
Davey, that song sucks. What are you doing?
R&B vocal male. I'd like to see Wilson Pickett win that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like pop vocal male Sting. I'd like to see that.
Big Sting fan?
I'm not a big fan, but I like a few of his tunes, and I think it's real interesting when an artist comes out of a band that's established and goes out there and puts his career on the line and goes off and does it on his own, and he obviously has. So I have a lot of admiration for that kind of thing. Rock vocal female, Tina Turner. Rock male. Tina Turner also. Let me see.
I agree with you there.
Only joking. No, please don't hurt
Well, I
me.
think Tina's on the phone.
R&B female, Aretha Franklin, and R&B duo or group, I'd like to see Aretha Franklin and George Michael. That's fantastic.
Well, it'd be good for him to win something since he didn't win the cutest man of the year.
no,
Yeah, on
the country
Nickelodeon.
duet, I like people like, I like them all. I like Michael Murphy and Holly Dunn. I like that. Facing the Crowd, I think that's great. I can't see anybody else there, but this is
Did you pick
great
country
people.
duet? We want to know country duet there.
Country duet. Let me see. Country duet. Let me see now. Let me see. I'd like to see. Oh, Crystal Gale. Oh, what that hair? It goes all the way down her back, doesn't it?
Calm down, Davey.
None on her head, just down her back. Just, okay.
You know, Mark and I did a little country song.
Yeah,
Man.
we did.
I left my in San Francisco. You didn't get the breath in there?
I didn't have it all. I should have
Okay.
just
And then you
more.
should keel over and hit
Yeah. Yeah, well, thank you for those. We're going to compare them tomorrow and see how close you came.
I think I did come real close. I wrote a song, a country song. Called
Did you?
You don't have to be a country boy to sing a country song.
Damn true
So,
you don't.
I hope you'll be hearing that one too.
All right.
too.
Okay.
All right, we have 22 minutes until 9 o'clock. You stand by. Davey Jones of the Monkees is our guest. We'll be back with him. Yeah, you were kind of somber there on that one.
Well, I realize I'm talking over the Beatles.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Very Very important there, too.
Now, Peter Tork was he was the fifth Beatle, wasn't he,
I was
Davey?
thinking for a long time.
Peter Tork, the fifth Beatle. Well,
It's funny, I only do all that. The fifth Beatle,
The
or
microphone,
the fifth
David.
monkey, or
The
the fifth.
he'll just start talking no matter. You have to bring the microphone to him.
I'm sorry. It's not that I wasn't interested in.
No, we understand. We understand.
It's just great. That's great, that music, isn't it? You know, it's sort of like, I can't believe that all that time has gone by. It seems like it was only yesterday when they did that tune. It still holds up, though, doesn't it?
Well, so do y'all's.
Very nice.
All right, we have a caller on the phone. Good morning, KLOS. You're on the air with Davey Jones.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, Guy, how's it going? Calling from Santa Barbara. And, Davey, about 15 years ago, I used to be your box boy at Vaughn's in Montecito.
Vaughn's in
I used to carry
Montecito.
your groceries out for you
Fabulous.
and your
Where are you in Santa Barbara now?
Yeah,
Oh, great.
right on the beach.
What kind of stuff did Davey buy when he
Oh,
came to the
please
grocery
don't.
store?
You know,
do
to
it.
tell you the truth, for being such a high celebrity type dude,
Yeah.
he used to be the only guy that used to buy normal food.
Really?
I mean, all these other people used to buy a bunch of weird stuff, you know, like goose liver and all that crud. But Davey, he just buy normal food, and he was a normal guy. Real
All
cool.
right. Well, Santa Barbara's a normal place. You know, I was just in Spain, in Malaga, and it's another place where the mountains sort of greet the sea, and it's very much like that. The only difference is that we don't have those monsters standing in the sea in Spain. But I'm looking forward. I'm going to be down in Santa Barbara this week to the Earl Warren Showgrounds to see the horse show. Yeah.
Oh, I live right across the street from there. That's a good
Oh,
place.
you should hop over. Maybe Davey will have you by his place for a couple of drinks or something.
Or you can come by my place and have a couple drinks. How's
Yeah.
that?
All right.
be
Look
glad to
forward
do
to
that.
it.
I'll leave
Great
you
to
cooking
talk to you.
See ya.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, Davey, we got to wrap this up, but we have something very special we wanted to present to you.
Okay.
You know, on the Mark and Brian program, we always give one of our very special guests, and we just debuted this gift this past Monday. It's the official can of Mark and Brian Beanie Weenies.
For you and your family.
You might want to munch down on those in the limo
I
or
could
something.
have 5 or 6 people over. We can share this together.
Well, remember, Davey, there's a whole wiener in each can.
And that's important to keep in mind.
Goodness. I didn't. They're nice. They look like nice little wieners too, don't
Yeah,
they?
they really are. So
And
enjoy
also,
that.
I have something for you.
Yeah.
Great.
This is the Davy Jones 1988 13-month calendar.
13-month.
Yeah, well, you buy 12 and then you get 1 month free.
I see.
This is it. The last month of obviously is called Monkuary.
special.
And soon look forward to on your airwaves and television a new short sort of thing coming out for on the monkeys. It's going to be a monkumentary, which is going to be something that you'll be seeing soon.
Okay, great.
He cut his eyes on that one. Yeah, take a look at this.
That's great.
Watch this.
And don't you have some sort of a book signing coming up
Yes,
somewhere?
I do. On Saturday, it's at Samuel French on Sunset Boulevard, which is at it's right there, 7623 Sunset Boulevard.
What's the name of the book again?
It's called They Made a Monkey Out of Me.
Yeah, and who wrote that?
I did. It's the funniest book I ever wrote.
The
And
only
it's-
book you
it's
ever
the
wrote.
only book I ever wrote.
Well, we appreciate you stopping by, Davey.
We
It's
do.
certainly been a pleasure. I mean,
Yes, it has. Well, again,
And, I like to say I enjoyed myself.
But
That was about all. No,
Okay.
and no, I did. And I will definitely take these beans straight home.
Beanie Weenies.
I will take the weenies out, put them on one side for a
Thank you.
special guest,
Okay.
and I'll eat the beans.
well, I can tell you right now that my wife, when I get home, will be giddy for the fact that I spent the day with the cutest guy from Nickelodeon.
Yeah, well, I love this. Beans warms the heart. The more you eat, the more you enjoy it.
Fart.
you.
Go ahead and say it.
Do that.
You know,
We
when
can
you
do
say that, it makes some people laugh. You can't say that.
I know.
All right. Thanks again,
It is
Davey.
sort of funny, isn't it?
Thanks.
Did you do that? No, it wasn't me. Standing in a lift or something, in an elevator, and somebody goes, whoa, you go, excuse me. And everybody sort of look around. It wasn't
Who's
me.
going to take blame for it?
Well, we gotta go.
We gotta go.
We gotta go.
Davey, thanks again.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
We'll see you.
I'll see you soon. Ta-ra.
Love you.
What's the name of your book again,
It's called
Davey?
They Made a Monkey Out of Me. They
But Davy Jones is walking out of the building. And he walks past the big window we have from the hallway looking into the studio. He drops his pants and moons us.
Thing of it is, there were 5 or 6 switchboard girls standing around him at the time. And so he moons us, and he turns around as he's pulling his pants back up and tucking his shirt in. He's grinning like a little boy.
But we're talking pants down below the ankles, little blue Speedo shorts
Yes,
down
sir,
below
buddy.
the ankle. And
Yes,
he
sir.
has got one of the hairiest butts I've ever seen.
He's got him a hairy one. Ain't
Yeah.
no question about it.
Yeah, hairy.
So know for a fact now that Davy Jones has a hairy butt. And Davy, if you're listening to us, we're just wanting the audience to know exactly what you're all about, buddy.
We're probably, we should really feel lucky and fortunate. We're probably the only 2 males that ever saw the hairy butt.
Only 2 males that would probably ever want to see a hairy butt on Davy Jones.
Well, so thanks for that. And also, you should know that there's a big picture of you two in here. And Davy Jones drew a mustache on Bono.
Holy cow.
He was doodling and he drew a mustache on Bono.
Just wait until that word gets around. Davy Jones drawing graffiti on Bono's face.